Ladies, gentlemen, MBs, welcome back to another reaction. Today we are listening to EUSEXUA Afterglow by FKA twigs. This is an artist that I'm somewhat familiar with. I did listen to the original EUSEXUA when it did come out. I would have done this album first, but I've already listened to the original EUSEXUA. It's my understanding that it seems like later in the year there was a reissue of EUSEXUA, which maybe I could still do in the future. Maybe I could do it as like a Patreon exclusive thing, but again, there's a lot of overlap. It seems like I've listened to most of these songs or were on the original album, so there's that. In addition to that kind of reissue of EUSEXUA, there's an additional album, EUSEXUA Afterglow, which is what we're reacting to today. As per usual, if you've been around the block, you know the drill. I'm gonna look at the Genius real quick just to read the background, just to kind of get a little bit more framing on the album, and then we're not gonna read the Genius for the lyrical content. So if I miss something context-wise or whatnot, we're gonna make our own interpretations. That's just how it be, and that's pretty much it. So let's get into this. Let's read this real quick. So EUSEXUA Afterglow is the fourth studio album by FKA twigs. First revealed alongside the song Perfectly in an interview with Jake Shane, Twigs continually teased the release of a EUSEXUA Deluxe. I vaguely do remember that. Nicknamed DELUXUA by fans at the time. July 2025, she hosted a listening party. She played some of the songs. So the supposedly lead single Perfectly was released middle of July. However, it was confirmed not to be in the track list. Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't see it on here. So interesting. On August 14th, Twigs announced at the Lowlands Festival that the Deluxe would be called Afterglow and that her labor shall commence next month. Interesting. It was later revealed that this wasn't just a deluxe, but a full album. So cool. After her fans speculated the album would release sometime in September, but it ended up coming out in November. So, okay, end of year release. When did the original EUSEXUA come out? January. So she was really kind of cooking with this album. Okay. On September 25th, 2025, the true lead single, Cheap Hotel, was released, accompanied by a 7-minute long music video. Okay, maybe we can do that in the future too. But good to know. Good to know is a little bit of a backing. It seems like there's only one lead single, so also good to know for just kind of that sake as well. But yeah, that's really kind of the background I really need. Last thing, I know some people have dogged at me in the past for looking at the genres. I'm gonna be honest, it's gonna be kind of no surprise because I've listened to the original EUSEXUA and it kind of falls in line, but just for the sake of covering our bases here, genres are EDM, art pop, alternative R&B, with some subgenres as UK garage, glitch pop, and UK bass. So we kind of know what we're expecting here, but cool. Okay, I think that's a pretty good basis. Last thing before we get started here, as per usual, we do these videos live on Twitch every Monday at Miyadoa. So if you want to check that out, you certainly can. And then of course, these videos are always uploaded early on Patreon, along with some potential exclusive content. I guess just let me know what you guys want to see and I'll try my best to accommodate that. But all the links will be in the description. But otherwise, I think we just kind of get into this. So let's start with track 1, which is a very good place to start. Track 1, Love Crimes. Oh, last thing, cover art. I don't know. I don't know what to make of this. All I'm gonna say is this is like the scary, dirty version, and this is like the lovely, beautiful version, but a little bit still kind of hauntingly beautiful. I don't know what that means. I have no idea what that means, but we're gonna find out, I guess. All right, track 1, Love Crimes. I remember the original EUSEXUA being kind of a vibe, so. All right, so we're getting right back into it. Oh, wow. Hell yeah. A little bit of an acid bass action thing in the background. 303 bass line. The way this kick is hitting, honestly, it's like a slower, like techno even. Like this is, the kick is so heavy. Like that's really, I feel like where all this bass is coming from. Like there's some sort of like respace in the background, but it's really taking a back seat to this huge kick. Ooh. Wow, I love her vocal processing here. The way she's just like announcing that, so light. Which okay, a little bit more extra percussion to kind of build that up there. granular stuff going on here. The best times are the hardest to let go. Ooh. Guy vocal? I can't tell who this vocal is. And we just got noise, just like a gated noise sound trailing us out. Okay, I'm gonna have to run back on the lyrics real quick. I'm gonna kind of edit this in post. So unfortunately I did a whole lot of yapping over this. I should have mentioned at the beginning. I feel like typically we're very production forward on this channel, so probably on first listen you might catch me talking over things. I just get really excited about the production, but I promise you I'll go back and listen to the lyrics, and then we'll try our best to kind of talk about that afterwards. But in terms of production front, that was a crazy banger intro, so just got to get that out of the way. But let's do a quick skim through lyrical wise. For each angel fallen, my heart is broken until the next time. Okay, something I'm really going to be kind of considering, I mean, is kind of the context of this album and how it was released, and just kind of the thought process of her writing this album. You know, she could have easily packaged this into another album and called it something else. I think it's really interesting that she not just turned this into a deluxe, but it has its own identity. So I'm trying to consider that with kind of the vibe that the original EUSEXUA was kind of giving. It's my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's my understanding that like the original EUSEXUA is supposed to like really capture like the like on the dance floor, like pure passion kind of mindset, I suppose. So I'm kind of curious because I feel like we're kind of still in that pocket here, but kind of in some of the messaging though. You might be the one, but now I'm done. What was the other line? The best times are the hardest to let go. So I'm kind of curious if this is, I mean, Afterglow, if this is just like the fallout, like kind of the after effects of, you know, clubbing, whatever. Totally not feeling that quite yet in terms of sound. I feel like we're still kind of in the club, but, you know, maybe we're slowly working our way out of the club here. But I think if these are like connection albums, this is like a perfect sound palette for connecting these two albums. So, all right, let's get into track 2. Slushy, ba-bam. Let's see how we kind of pick up from here. Actually, let's check the producer here too. Manny D. Twigs does some production too. Fire. Always love to see that. What's this atmosphere? Okay, I'm turning it up again. These synths are so cold. It's kind of interesting. Everything's a little sharp, just kind of leading to that kind of icy feeling. Okay, this is gonna be kind of a crazy comm, so correct me if I'm out of pocket for this. Guy listens to one Björk album and thinks that every sort of art pop experimental type beat sounds like that, but am I crazy for kind of getting some similar, you know, glitch pop leanings with that? I don't know, kind of getting that vibe here. Wow, listen to these breaks cut in and out. Accoutrements? That's a crazy word. Nice electric piano. The form of this song is nuts. Oh, those bells in the background? No, those aren't bells, that's like a harp. Ooh, nice chords here. I gotta back that up. I love that delay. Like, it's just like catching like the lip sounds or like the tongue sounds there. That's crazy. Yeah, I hear that. turning 23. How old is Twigs? Let me know. Because again, I know she's been around for a minute. Wow. This juxtaposition here is crazy with how light her vocals are and this beat in the background. Wow, even like the small filter changes on this drum break here. Mixing this had to have been a nightmare. It'd be so real. There's so much going on. That like stutter gated vocal in the background too. The second fame. Okay, let's run this one back lyric wise. Let's do a quick little skim through here real quick. The bluest sky, the deepest night, a slushy. Okay, now I know how I mentioned kind of how this song feels kind of cold, but obviously Slushy gives that as well. The perfect home, a sweet goodbye, a lover's eyes, a honeycomb, a bowl of rice. Okay, definitely the lyrical writing is very beautiful here, but she definitely also came from the Björk school of writing as well. Pretty much just being like poetry here. Download that from my memory. I don't know. That for some reason I'm kind of putting a mental pin there. I feel like that's like something really interesting with how cold this instrumental sounds. Okay, I guess let me kind of break down how I kind of feel about this one. I feel like this is a great kind of transition from the last song in terms of atmosphere and vibe, but I'm still kind of feeling a little bit of like two ideas kind of going on here. Like I feel like there's still like the hard undercurrent of the drums and the bass blasting like crazy, but then you have like this really nice and gentle percussion. Really, I mean, some of the percussion is pretty, you know, granular and just kind of spliced throughout. We have some harp action, some light synths on top, and of course Twigs' vocals as well, kind of being really elegant on top as well. So crazy juxtapositions going on. Again, not totally sure what to make of it in the context of the album, but at the very least it sounds beautiful. So there's that. Okay, hang on. I'm gonna read chat here real quick because chat kind of filled me in a little bit on the background. Whether I totally go into it or not, we'll see. But it's because she's still feeling EUSEXUA, but it's different because we're not on the club anymore. We're feeling the afterglow of the night, walking out of the club. Okay. So we kind of cooked a little bit. Where EUSEXUA is the bird's eye view of the human experience, Twigs says EUSEXUA Afterglow is meant to capture humanity through a more direct lens. Feelings are unfiltered and instantaneous. Okay. I'm gonna take that with a grain of salt. I'm gonna be so real. Again, maybe it's what she said. Maybe it's objectively true, but I'm not trying to get swayed, any sort of way with my interpretation, or at least my first interpretation of the album. So again, in the same vein that I'll re-listen to some of these songs and catch the lyrics on second pass that I may have missed on first listen. Kind of want to be in the same bag, but I will consider that somewhat. But all right, let's get into seemingly some of the bigger tracks here. Let's get into track 3, Wild and Alone, featuring PinkPantheress, who we just did last week. Perfect timing. But let's get into track 3, Wild and Alone. Whoa. This is going to be a garage beat. The tempo is already given that. And even the vocal in the background. And it has PinkPantheress on it, so it kind of has to be. Vocals? Okay, picking up. Okay. Hell yeah. Whoa. Crazy chord action? I was gonna make a comment. I'm gonna let this play out for a second. Oh, I love that chord there that she uses. Okay, I'm gonna run this section back real quick. One thing I want to note for I want to note about the last song is the form and the songwriting was so abstract and crazy. Like it's like there's a couple maybe like chorus sections, but like it's not chorus, verse. Then here comes the 8-8. Shouts out to anyone who catches that. It ain't that. This song feels more like true single-ish. This feels very structure-wise and experimental-wise. Like, there's still a whole lot of cool experimental stuff going on here, but in terms of kind of the pocket, I mean, listen, we have like an actual drum groove we can kind of, latch on to a little bit more here, where the last one, things were kind of cutting in and out. So just want to note that real quick here, just kind of the differences between this song.
You told me I hate your life and I hate all your money.
Nice, I like the harmony there, the lower harmony. Wow, that drum fill was sick. I'm having a hard time telling if this is Pink or Twigs. I feel like they have both such light voices. I think this is Twigs and maybe previously was Pink in the last couple bars. Yeah, I'm just gonna kind of vibe out. I feel like I, for the most part, kind of said what I needed to say. I just gotta really listen to these cool production changes here. Wild and alone because nobody dares. I feel like that really says a lot about modern nightlife modern nightlife culture as well. I love this bridge here. Again, this texture is beautiful. Okay, mostly instrumental outro. It's like this song was meant to be played at the club. Oh! Hell yeah! Guy goes crazy at pitch bend synth thing. Yeah, that was fire. I honestly think that this is like the perfect blend of kind of what she's going for in this album. While certainly I love kind of a little bit more of the more album cut seeming songs like Slushy that kind of go a little bit more full into like the experimental bag. I think this song was the perfect marriage of pop accessibility, but also really kind of going crazy on the experimental stuff as well. I feel like this is like the most palatable like album or song on this album thus far. Mind you, we're only on track 3, but yeah, they did a great job. I think they both cooked. Again, I know we mentioned that it was kind of hard maybe sometimes to tell, which one was singing, but regardless, I think it was fantastic. So I know there's some kind of harmony moments that I feel like I shouted out. Kind of curious if it was them or if they were doubling their own vocals. I don't know. I guess I'll look at that is one thing I'll look into Genius maybe after just to see who's singing where, but or I'll listen to like a K-pop line chart type thing of when they're singing. But all right, let's get into track 4, Hard, all caps. Seemingly the biggest song on the album. I'm not familiar with it, so track 4, Hard. How are we gonna kind of keep this up? Whoa! I should have known better. Wham Bam, Björk again? Maybe. Oh, nice little pitch thing there. Nice. Kind of continuing some of the sentimentality of the last, what was mentioned in the last song, or like the second half of it at least. Of just doing something 110%. And something in this example is loving. Wow, this top layer with her vocal here is Nutty. Nice. Who produced this one? Mechatalk, Manny D. Okay, I've seen Manny D quite a few times, so must be a frequent collaborator or something. Whoa! The pitch bend on this bass, didn't it? This is a crazy bridge. And right back into the chorus. With some vocals in the background. I just gotta let her cook. Okay, a little halftime outro. Ooh, a little bit of a different last chord there. Will we get it again? Interesting last chord to kind of resolve on, or I suppose not to resolve on. Like, it resolved up, but like, interesting to end on that. Yeah, another one, honestly, in the same pocket as the PinkPantheress one, Wallin' and Alone. I can understand why this one has the most streams. Just another banger. Just another banger. And again, continuing kind of the subject matter and vibe of the last track as well. So overall, thematically, in terms of the album as a whole, I feel like we're kind of picking up tempo here. Where the first song was kind of a little bit more scary introduction into this world. I feel like we're, the way Slushy kind of chilled things out, no pun intended, we're kind of picking things up here a little bit, but I think we're still kind of keeping that kind of light vibe as in Slushy. So it's not getting as dark as the first song, and definitely not as the original EUSEXUA. So to be determined if we'll keep that vibe or not. Am I feeling the Afterglow? I'm gonna be so real. I'm still kind of trying to figure out what that entirely means. I know you just kind of gave me the synopsis, but maybe this is something I need to, once I hear this, when I go out on Friday to girly pop night, I'll have this in the back of my mind for after that. So anyways, let's get into track 5, Cheap Hotel, another kind of big streamer. But how do we kind of continue here? Whoa. Whoa. Okay, I'm almost fully turned up on my volume mixer. What a crazy vibe. Okay, I think I'm gonna lock in more in the lyrics on this one. The vibe here is really lending to that a little bit more, it feels like. Ooh, slowing things down? Where are we going? This is crazy. Sure. You know what? Why not? I gotta push my headphones in to even hear this more. I know I have my mixer turned up all the way, but like, there's like a fax machine in the background. I feel like we're kind of picking up some tempo here. Yeah. This timing is so messed up. Okay, quick pause in the middle so YouTube doesn't kill me for just listening to the song. I know she mentions Cheap Hotel right behind the club. I know this is like subject matter wise, club etc. There's kind of two routes I feel we can kind of get from this song. One is a little bit potentially more favorable, the other one potentially not. We already kind of know how some artists in the music industry, example Ray, but I'm seemingly quite a few. I'm assuming many others have gotten treated in the music industry, but also just women in general and kind of the dangers of them being in the nightlife. So the best option would be it's just the girls going out, having a good time, and they're having a good time. And this feels like, you know, you're having the spins right now. You're having the spins right now, and this kind of swaying of vibe is one thing, but the kind of more sinister outcome of this is it could be just taking drugs. It could just be taking drugs, which I suppose is kind of like the middle outcome here. Or the worst outcome is being drugged. I don't know. I have no idea. But we're getting a really, really unique atmosphere that I feel like is unsettling enough. I don't know. I feel like there's just a hint of something kind of off here. Maybe I'm reading too deep into this, but something to consider. I guess we'll see where this instrumental kind of goes to kind of pick up on the intentions of this maybe. I think it's really interesting also, this like deeper guy vocal with kind of the subject matter here too, with Twigs having a more innocent, lighter voice in contrast of that. Wow. No, pausing with these senses, I'm just trying to splurge here. Interesting. This has to be one of the most unique songs I've reacted to. Or just straight up listen to in a minute. Okay, interesting. Cheap hotel. Okay. With some friends of mine. Seems like she's in good company. So, love that. Listen, I gotta be in my edge, right? We listen to the Ray album, we listen to Ethel Cain, anything can happen, right? I see a cheap motel or hotel and have drug imagery. I gotta get a little bit scared. I'm gonna be so real. But I'm happy that this is seemingly just a nice experience with friends. I'm just curious with this vocal chop, if it's from like a song or something, or if it's just something that they chopped and messed with it in post on their end. But wow, this was a really crazy one. Honestly, I feel like I mentioned kind of the streams a lot in some of these songs, whether to say that some songs should have more streams or whatever. I think it really paints kind of a bigger picture in terms of it shouldn't affect how you perceive a song, but I think it still does have some sort of realm of your perception of a song, and just the general perception of a song. Anyways, I'm happy that this song is seemingly one of the most streamed songs on this album, because for this being the most unique, but also having the most streams, gotta love that for the world. Okay, let's keep rolling. So we're seemingly kind of at the tail end of this, trip here. Now we get in the track 6, Touch a Girl. Let's keep rolling. We're just over the halfway point. I love this compositional juxtaposition here with how light her vocals is and everything else. Physically compatible, emotionally detestable. Interesting. I hope that... Hang on. This song's a trip too. I couldn't have timed that any better. That was... I love this like sharp. Okay, I gotta do a quick pause. I love this like sharper bass synth thing going on here. Like it almost feels like when it pans through with just kind of like this prickly top synth thing going on here. Like it almost feels like chills on your back, or like getting like goosebumps, or like your hair standing up, which I think really kind of goes with the subject matter. That's all I'm gonna say. Goes with the subject matter. Wow, I love. For how big some of these songs are, I love how also like her use of silence as well, and using that as an instrument too. Wow, that bass is crazy. There's so much noise on the top of it. Just like pure white noise. Yeah, right there, like the way the synth lays down and to get really silent there on Mind Control. And even Carousel right there. I love that. I love these bigger sounds, but I love it when it gets really quiet too. Great harmony. Okay, if this is the lead single, that's... Oh, Cheap Hotel was the lead single. Okay, my fault. I misread that. That also probably explains why I had more streams. But I was gonna say, if this was the lead single, that'd be crazy. Yeah, this one was the most unique like ballad of like, I don't know. This was so... I gotta hear this section again. The wow. It's so intimate. Like it's so intimate. Like it's... I feel wrong like reacting to this right now. Like I feel like I'm in the room right now. Like I shouldn't be watching this. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't know. That was crazy vibe. I'm still not sure because she references directly Afterglow. I'm still not totally sure what that. Okay, let's just search the word. Let's just Google the word Afterglow. Light or radiance, meaning in the sky after the sun has set. Good feelings remaining after a pleasurable or successful experience. Okay, I mean, I can gather that, but I feel like the way she's interpreting it is like way more intensely. I mean, obviously, just in description, I mean, that's pretty intense, but it's hard to tell with some of these experiences what is the afterglow and what is like the actual experience. Like in particular, the last song, Cheap Hotel, like I feel like we were surely in like the middle of this trip here, unless... Let me cook. Unless if Cheap Hotel is, part of this drug experience and this is in the moment, and kind of this touch a girl kind of fantasy follow-up is kind of a little bit of the afterglow of the events in Cheap Hotel. And that's why we're kind of getting this abstract vibe here. I don't know. What is he cooking? I don't know. But maybe I'm not going to say it. Track 7, we got to follow up here. Track 7, Predictable Girl. Okay, so we got Touch a Girl. Now we got track 7, Predictable Girl. Okay. Okay, tempo. She's the queen of tempo timings.
Yeah, I'm more awkward than a stop animation when you say you are not who you are. You got me so locked in, need a crowbar. Now you're getting deep in some body activations. I wanna go no distance with temptation, but you took me home. I wanna know you.
What is this bass? This is crazy. Okay, hang on. I gotta run that back. I gotta run that back real quick. I hear that lead in. I need to hear a vocal swell up here too. I feel like for the most part of this album, her vocal's been really light. I feel like she really had some kind of bite there. A 3-minute ride and a 18-minute walk. Nice. Nice. Whoa. I love this bass. Doing this like octave doo-da thing, but like the tone of the bass is like so unique for that sound. This is the second single. This is a crazy. If this was the second single, this is crazy to like introduce people into this world. I'm gonna run this back. I'm gonna run this back a little bit more again. I love her vocal there too. Nice. Bugatti car. Wait, what did she? Stop, start, and wait, hang on, I gotta run that back again. Nice. Okay, I'm just gonna let this ride out, then I'll make my comments. First off, who producers? Twigs, Tick, Manny D. Okay, seems like usual suspects here. I gotta know if they do some like production breakdowns or something. Some of this stuff is so crazy. Like, I feel like they're really like, if you took the bones of this song or even some of these other songs on here and, you know, use more like typical production, you know, you'd probably have like regular typical like pop banger stuff, right? But the sounds that they're using and the way she's using her voice to paint these pictures is like, this really does have a really great blend of pop stylings and like knowing what hits, but also understanding like the experimental too, but also not like overdoing it. Some of these textures are so wacky. So I gotta know if this is like on brand for her. I know when I heard the original EUSEXUA, it seems kind of similar vein to that, but has she always been like that? I mean, even in some of these earlier albums, I would love to know, because I would imagine yes. I would imagine yes that she's always been somewhat experimental, because like how do you just come up with this, right? Like this sounds like years and years of experimenting to get to this level of abstract songwriting and pulling tempos and everything. So enough glazing. Let's get into the final stretch here. We got 4 more tracks. Track 8, Sushi, which I mentioned pre-stream. I believe I have heard the song once in like the car with a friend. So, but it was like literally once in the car with a friend. You know what I'm saying? So I probably don't remember it too much. Maybe I will. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. But just got to give you full disclaimer, because that's just what it be. Track 8, Sushi. Okay. Kind of like a little... Feels like a pitch thing going on in her vocal, or maybe she's just doing that. I don't know. Nice. Okay. These are these pop stylings I'm talking about here. Where's that synth harp again? Whoa. Yeah, like the bones are so regular pop, but like this vocal effect is so unique. I want to take you out. Nice. production glaze, like only she would use like a vocoder like effect thing on her vocal for like a half of a second here. Then it's gone. Like what is that? Like this is a crazy vocal effect here. But form-wise, we've been pretty in the same pockets thus far. But this is also the longest track, so I expect that to change. Okay, nice drum break. Nice snare hits. Okay. Like a halftime trap thing, but I feel like the tempo's car race and rave country life. Nice. Something's gonna happen here. Okay, yeah. I think I do remember this part.
Walk for me, walk for me, walk for me.
Whoa.
Walk for me, 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 walk for me.
Okay, I gotta run this back. I gotta run that back. That was a crazy lead-in. Okay, I was gonna say I don't remember the song being as kind of, I don't want to say slow, but like the way it kind of started was not the part that I supposedly remembered. This I vaguely remember, but man, like the lead into this was just like that.
Walk for me, walk for me, walk for me.
Like now we're in a ballroom, like.
Walk for me, 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 walk for me. I'll see you after the function.
Whoa! Okay, now we're switching up the beat again.
I wanna take you out. I wanna take you out. Spot, drop, jump a lane. Take you to the beach, not club arena. I wanna see you scheming, drinking car wash with a margarita. I wanna send up my song.
Nice, repeating that verse again.
Take you out shopping at night. Car
Race and rave, country
life. Would you be surprised to know that my karaoke song is a gasolina? I said it as a tactical style.
Wow, this kick is so punchy too. Nice. Ooh.
You ready? I'm gonna take you out. I'm gonna take you out. I'm gonna take you out.
You're never gonna take me out.
The story cowbell. Trading vocals. My brain was going crazy right now. And a hard cut. What? How do you? That was crazy. Yeah, I don't totally remember that. I remember that it switched up. So again, full disclaimer on that. I don't remember it being that sudden and totally what it switched up into. Shouts out Twigs. Shouts out Twigs being an ally here, it sounds like. That's crazy. I'm just gonna do a quick lyric skim through, just make sure there's nothing I'm missing, but like, I mean, like when we're like voguing at the end there, like I'm still thinking too hard. I think I'm still thinking too hard about the afterglow feeling. Like, if we're trying to get out of the club, that's like as club as you're gonna get. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm expecting the next song maybe to to chill things out or something from this last one. But I feel like right now we're really like being like pulled around right now. So I'm trying to understand it conceptually from that point of view. I mean, after the club, maybe I'm gonna be so real. After the club, I'm like, bro, it's fucking bedtime. We're out too late. Listen, maybe they do shit different. And you say in Miami. Probably different type nightlife. I don't know. TLDR, I'm still trying to figure out where this kind of places in terms of this timeline, in terms of where we're at. Like, where we're at, like, physically. Are we in the club? All right, let's wrap this shit up. I kind of got stunlocked here. But yeah, that song honestly kind of stunlocked me a little bit, just in general. Mind you, she's clubbing in Prague. Okay, that's probably why I can't relate, you know. Probably, I'd imagine the clubbing scene in Europe is probably a little bit, probably a little bit crazier, if I just got to go off a hunch. All right, I'm going to keep rolling. Track 9, Peace of Mind. How do we pick up from that? I have no idea. Okay, getting a little lighter here. I feel like we can get into like an R&B. Never mind. Oh. Okay, yeah. Whoa, this pitch bend here is... How to Write a High, nice. This is genuinely a trip. This is crazy. Yeah, this was the vibe I was expecting from the beginning. Okay. But this detuning, it's like we're microtonal here pretty much. Okay, back into the groove. It's like that didn't even happen. Okay, yeah. What was the one line that I mentioned about a pin-in, about like her digital something? I don't know. She mentioned something digital. I think that's just kind of an interesting... Well, let's find the damn line. Hang on, I don't know. Regardless of whatever song it was in, I don't know. I just think that's like feeling like some of these like modern digital aesthetics are like just like 2010 digital vibe. I feel like that's kind of getting pushed right now. And some of these textures that are, you know, I mean, come on, like listen how digital this sounds. Like, I think it's so interesting. There is something uniquely beautiful about this album. I'm still trying to... Some of this album feels like a trip. Some of this feels haunting. Some of this feels beautiful. And I think there's something potentially beautiful in that. But I feel like really it's such a spectrum of emotions. And I feel like maybe I'm trying too hard to kind of pinpoint one for some of these songs. Feeling like, oh, this is what this song's about, or this is like what the vibe is. But especially this one, again, I feel like we're kind of still in kind of this like dream state drug trip from Cheap Hotel, or even some of these other songs where, you know, the tempo is kind of warbling, you know, the pitch is kind of warbling. What she's talking about is still beautiful. So super interesting, but yeah, I'm just a little sunlocked after the last couple of songs. I'm gonna be real. I feel like Sushi is walking back home with your friends, but y'all still hype. Okay, I can see that. I can see that. Like, I feel like there's kind of two different car rides. You know, you got the Uber car ride home, where it's just like, I feel like mostly you're just kind of in silence, just looking out the window, trying not to die because you Ubered home and no one could drive. Or you get the friend driving home and they're kind of blasting the tunes. That's the blasting the tunes portion of that. That's Sushi. Okay. I appreciate that context. I feel like that actually helps paint a better picture for me. Let's continue. Track 10. Let's round this out here. Lost all my friends. seemingly really sad song title. Okay, I think I already picked up on it. Like, we're so deep into this mind state here.
Lost all my friends in the club. Then I lost my mind in the car. I don't even remember who you are. You are. Lost all my friends in the club. Then I lost my mind in the car. I don't even remember who you are. You are.
Okay. Cutting things out. Classic one bar bass drum pickup and then just cut it out. Out of all the more abstract songs thus far, this one I feel like is the most compelling to me personally.
Friends in the club. Then I lost my mind in the car. I don't even remember who you are.
Like, this is purely a mindset thing. But it's like uniquely relatable. Again, this is like really hauntingly beautiful because like we have like kind of this up-tempo, feels like you're still in the club type beat here, but okay, hang on, vocals. But it's like so abstracted. There's those digital cuts again. Oh, she says something about her memory and like save it to memory or something digital. Which honestly, I feel like that's what we're getting here. Like, I feel like our memory, our like perception of the world is like so warped right now just because of this experience. And okay, I'm so glad that I kind of pinpointed that lyric because I feel like we're kind of getting a little bit of a full circle moment here. Yeah, the way that beat was... Okay, I'm gonna finish this song out, but... The way that beat was driving and, like, everything around is, like, smearing, like... It's like you've already, like, left the club, but, like, you're still hearing, like the beat in your head. Okay, now we're doing the full, like, MP3 audio. Filter distortion here. Getting real muddied. Super digital. Yeah, it's like we're underwater right now. I'm gonna see if this transitions and I'll pull it back. It does. Wow. Incredible transition. Okay, we're gonna run that back, trust. Yeah, that song honestly did helped a lot with kind of my conception of this album. You can make the argument maybe you're digging a little bit too deep and trying to figure out the vibe, and maybe, wow, it's so obvious. But I don't know. I feel like it's one thing to being told about what the album's about, and it's one thing actually wanting to relate to such a visceral album as this. And I don't know, I feel like it just takes a little bit of contextualization to totally feel it. You know, on surface, I feel like you could hear some of these songs and be like, oh, this is just like club music, because you just hear like an up-tempo beat. But I don't know, sometimes I feel like I just kind of talk in some of these reactions because I feel obligated by YouTube to do so I don't get copyright striked. But I feel like also quite a bit of it is a little bit stream of consciousness of me trying to interpret how I'm feeling as well. Little meta YouTube analysis there. But no, I think that one honestly is maybe even like a top 3 in terms of how it made me feel. I feel like some of these songs had some, there's definitely harder songs, but I feel like that really kind of put the pieces together in terms of this unique vibe we're kind of getting in the Afterglow. So... All right, final track. Let's get into track 11, Stereo Boy. I'm going to run this back a few seconds to hear this lead in, so I won't miss it. Okay, we got 10 seconds. We got this noise. This like underwater atmosphere here. Static. And it's like we're emerging. sharp synth, really distorted. Still some pitch bend stuff going on here. Guitars? Whoa. This vocal. Da, da, da. Interesting. Interesting accidental note there. I feel like maybe I'm speaking too early, but this really feels like we're coming out of this. Whoa, what a hit. Actual goosebumps. Her vocals here are so different than the rest of the album. They're so forward and like anthemic. Okay, we're gonna get that hit again. Yup. I might risk the copyright strike. I might just close my eyes here. This is... I really need to hone in on these sounds here. I'm gonna say it again. I'm getting huge Björk vibes from this, even just vocal melody. But it sounds incredible. Getting like Undo vibes or something. Wow, the timing of these hits is so... like these glitches too? I love how synthy and like glitchy everything's been, but they have like a true guitar here is awesome. Okay, I've woken. Wow, that sharp synth on top is so... the texture is perfect. And a hard cut. And a hard cut. That's crazy. Wow. Wow, that was beautiful. That was crazy. I know I probably said that a whole lot in this reaction, but Yeah, that really felt like the come up here, or like getting out of this like trance state and kind of being more grounded with reality. Again, another song I feel like I was really just kind of enveloped with the sound of the world that she kind of presented here. So probably gonna miss some of this subject matter, but again, I think some of this, especially on first reaction, I feel like it's more important for how visceral and abstract this album is. I think it's really important to capture what it means to me personally on this first listen than the objective truth behind it, and I'm going to stand by that. So, all right, EUSEXUA, Afterglow, Twigs, FKA Twigs. Yeah, I'm glad I finally got around to this reaction. I feel like I've said I'm gonna react to this since like the beginning of the year, and I've just kind of pushed it off for whatever reason. I don't know if I thought like, oh, I already listened to the original EUSEXUA, so like I don't know how similar or different this is gonna be. I need to listen to the original EUSEXUA again, or even the reissue, just to understand where this kind of plays thematically. I'm curious where, again, I feel like a lot of these more abstract albums, I'm asking at the end of them for, are there any sort of like documentaries or breakdowns, because I would love to know where she was at in her life at the writing of this. Obviously, she felt compelled enough one way to make the original EUSEXUA, but to turn that deluxe into a whole other concept, and to build on the world of the original, and I'd even say the transition from it pretty well too. Again, I feel like Love Crimes was like the perfect bridge from the original vibe into whatever Afterglow ended up kind of becoming. But yeah, I'm honestly so glad that she turned this into its own album. And a lot of the subject matter here, or just kind of like the overall vibe, I felt like it was really just kind of being like pulled in and out of states of consciousness, even just physically being from the club to being out, being in hotels seemingly, by the song title. But yeah, I feel like I'm gonna have to, this is gonna be an album I'm gonna have to kind of recontextualize some of these songs with just kind of more listens. But at first listen, this is definitely a trip. I feel like this is definitely an album you got to listen to in its entirety. Sure, there's some songs I feel like can stand alone, like Wild and Alone, Sushi, etc. But some of these songs like Cheap Hotel, what a crazy lead single. She's honestly so real for doing that. That's like the craziest song to do as a lead single, and honestly that was such a trip. But yeah, that's what I gotta say. I think I'm just kind of a little bit still kind of overwhelmed. One could even say I'm in the afterglow of the album right now. Boo, throw tomatoes at me. But again, appreciate y'all for watching. We got some good reactions coming up here. I feel like the month of March, some people are dropping some great albums, so there's gonna be a lot of newer reactions. I feel like I've been kind of playing a lot of catch up the last several months of listening to some stuff that's within like the last decade or so that I've missed, but there's gonna be a lot of new stuff, and I kind of want to get to that. So that being said, though, if there's anything that you want me to react to that I haven't reacted to that has come out over the last several years, please let me know. Again, I kind of want to do a little bit more. I feel like I'm only doing one video a week thus far, but anyways, I'm yapping. Let me know what you want to see, but I appreciate you being here. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.